Today is May 2nd, 2019. Today is the National Day of Prayer. I hope you guys do a little praying today. I hope you get a chance to see the White House speeches and prayers at the White House today. That was very sweet and touching. Last night we did get rain. It seems to be about 1.75 inches. So in the last 3 days, I guess we've got 4 and 1.75, so that'd be 5.75. So that's around 6 inches of rain this last week. And wow, I'm still here. I don't feel like I've been getting much accomplished this week, but I've stayed alive and watched things grow. Here, let me show you around my little greenhouse, and then today we're going to just focus on the front yard. Okay, here we go. Now, I wanted to get some new cantaloupe seed because I didn't think my cantaloupe was popping up, and now after I bought some seed, I think I've had, look, you see that? Cantaloupe. I've had some of my cantaloupe pop up, and that's a cucumber. So anyway, that's life. So to get seed, I just bought a cantaloupe. I was down at City Market. Instead of buying, $2 pack of seed, I just bought a new cantaloupe and ate it. So I'm going to plant cantaloupe all over the place and see what happens. And I also bought some cucumber seeds, some new cucumber seeds last weekend because, well, I want cucumbers. So here, this is what the greenhouse is looking like. We are getting some seed pop up, and it has taken quite a while to get some of this. Like this says 219. So even though I tried to start early, it just would not come up. And this cantaloupe here says 220. So even though I had planted it, I guess, I don't know, not hot enough. I don't know what happened. But it's now starting to pop up. I had actually kind of given up on it. I mean, that's why the new seed. That's some, either a banana, that's a sweet pepper of some sort. And some basil finally. I mean, I planted thousands of basil seeds. I had collected a whole bunch of seeds, but I planted them all over the place, and I've been having trouble actually getting basil plants. I pray these guys keep growing and get big and strong. So now these are don't read the titles. These all need to be retitled. These are, I'm calling them backyard volunteers, because I'm not sure what they are. But you can see from the leaf that they are, well, tomatoes, but that they're not the Brandywine tomatoes. These are going to be, I think they're going to be large red tomatoes, I hope. I pray they're not the paste, because I've got a lot of paste tomatoes already. Volunteer paste. What's in here? Some seeds that haven't come up yet. So I got some watermelon that is starting to come up. That's nice. And some other watermelon. So I like that. And nothing really coming up over there to speak of. Well, that's kind of what's in the greenhouse, and these are other volunteer. Now I did label these ones. See, volunteer backyard. So, and I've got a whole bunch more of these back there. Either I'm going to have to treat them as weeds and pull them up, or plant them up. So I've got all these volunteer tomatoes coming up, better than what I tried to grow in my greenhouse. So I must be doing something wrong, as I've been told. So Lord knows. I'll try again. That's supposed to be You can see none of that's watermelon. That's, who knows? Who knows what that is? But it's some volunteer seeds from, you know, I was making compost from just leaves in my yard and stuff. So obviously there's something else in there. Here, let's step out front. Like I said, last night we had 1.75 inches of rain. There's a little bit of dampness there, but look at that. So the mint's doing good, but I guess all of my cabbage that I planted in these two pots have not done well. So that's kind of bad. But look at this. Now, and here, can you see this? That's nasturtium, finally. And over here, you see this one? Nasturtium. And over here, nasturtium. Now, I have planted, well, probably 100 plus nasturtium seed all over the place. So for me to finally get some, even though it's just 3, I'm kind of happy about that. Now this one here, this cabbage is doing okay, and the mint underneath is still doing the good. Now I love to put a little bit of mint in my tea, and so mint is actually something I appreciate. I mean, I am using already. So thank the Lord for the mint. And look, nothing is growing in this pot except my 2 nasturtium seeds. So truthfully, this pot needed to be totally redone. I mean, I see the seed as bad. What was it supposed to be? A lettuce. It was supposed to be butter crunch lettuce, and that's a nice lettuce. Butter crunch is a nice lettuce, but my seed must have been old. Anyway, nasturtium's coming up. It's still not too late in the year. In fact, it's still early in the year. You can still replant everything. I just need to get motivated and want to. Now let me show you this. Can you see that up there? That's actually really taking off. Now these are collards. I really should consider planting those out. Some of those. I mean, look at those. They need more room. And I forget what these are. Oh, these are collards also. So that's kind of, and look at that mustard. It really is doing well. I've got mustard planted all over my yard. I guess I've got faith for mustard seeds. I've got mustard seed faith. Or maybe I don't have faith for it. I just plant it everywhere because I lack that what I plant's going to come up. So I just plant it and plant it. So maybe that's a sign of poor faith. Who knows? Look at this. I think that's a squash over there. I think that's yellow squash. In fact, that's desperate to be planted out. So I need to pick a place to plant that. Either backyard or front yard. Okay, well, that's kind of the seeds. Now, look at that. Oh, I think that's my first pea. Is that a pea yet? A pod, finally? Do I have pods? No, but soon. Wow, that's looking nice. That plant. And I planted that so early. And you can see over in here, the peas didn't come really. So we'll see what happens. And look, even though there's a potato in here, in here, in here, but only in this bucket is there potato leaves showing. But look, nasturtium. That's pretty awesome. So I added 2 more nasturtiums in this bucket. So excellent. I think Paloma may have helped me plant those. She was over here one day. In fact, I was surprised today. Look at that. Now, that's not all from yesterday. I poured excess water from there into here. So this isn't all rain from today, but this in here is. And that's 1.75 inches of rain at the bottom of that bucket, because that's where I used to get my rain measurement for today. So that's a lot of water, actually. So the Lord is so generous. When He comes to water my garden, God is just so generous. He's like, you just don't know how much He's going to pour on your garden. I mean, He does enough to make rivers. I mean, His strategies are just totally different than when I plant and when I water with just my little bucket. But anyway, I'm being humorous, trying to be anyway. Look at that. That peach tree has peaches. Praise the Lord. Look at that. That is gonna be, wow. I just pray they really get big. Lord bless it. And now this is a potatoes, and of course mustard greens in there. And this was actually, these mustard greens were planted last year. So I need to give mustard greens away. I have a neighbor who loves them, so I hope to give him some. It's kind of, I guess, a tradition now. Now that is a healthy apple tree. I planted some ones I dug up. I don't even know if they're going to survive. But looky here, the cabbage. Now the red cabbage, but the Dutch cabbage, I guess they don't like it here. The Dutch cabbage is not doing well. Now that's a squash. Now I had planted some watermelon here, but I had a different strategy. I mean, I was planting watermelon everywhere. It's kind of like what I'm going to do with my cucumbers. I've already planted cucumbers, but I wasn't seeing them pop up. So, like I said, I got new seed. I'm going to plant cucumbers everywhere. But look, now the tomatoes that did make it and were able to get planted out, most of them are looking real healthy. Look at that. So these few tomato plants that survived so far and planted out, well, this one doesn't look so good. But those, look at that. Those are looking good. Those are looking better. I've only had one of them that I planted out totally disappear. Look, that one died. So I'll plant another one there later. And you can see the peas in here. They are looking pretty not so good. It's like I need to replant a lot of this with fresh seed. These are mammoth peas, which that's my favorite. Now I found a whole bunch of corn growing in one spot from I guess a cob that was left in the garden. So I transplanted all these little corns. So that's really good for me, because I've struggled with growing corn. So we'll see what happens. And I also had some fresh corn seed, not volunteer. That's volunteer corn there. Oh, is that? Yes. That's fantastic. So one of my watermelon, now this is black diamond watermelon in this pot. One of them is popped up, and you can see all these helicopter seeds from the maple tree. Man, every year thousands and thousands of helicopter seeds come into my garden, and I've usually already planted a lot of stuff, so it's not like you can just rake it up. Anyway, that's life. Now I had one corn. Look, I have one corn come up from this bed. Now this bed is corn, and back over there is okra. Now I love okra, but if I plant too much of it, it's half a bed of okra is a lot of okra when it comes up and starts producing. I actually need to start picking some of these, I think. So that's kind of the bed. You can see how things are going. It looks like I've got some weeds that I need to deal with. I have found like 10 or so, at least 10 walnut trees springing up in my garden. I don't even have a walnut tree around here, but the squirrels, I don't know where they're bringing them from, but they bring them and plant them. They think they're going to grow walnut trees in my garden, which they do, but I pull them up. So this is my front yard vine, which has been here a year or two. It's growing, but you know, in the backyard I have little grapes, and people have been confirming that those are grapes. So that's fantastic. But look, this vine, even though it looks a lot, to me it looks very similar in leaves, I don't see any grapes on it. So what am I to make of that? So is this a wild vine then? Do I need to give it more time to produce grapes? Or do I need to dig it up? I mean, that other one in the backyard is producing, it looks like. And this one just seems to be spreading out and taking over. Well, and we can see, look at that. Now those are some more of those volunteer tomatoes. And I think these are Amish paste myself. But we'll find out. I might be surprised. So the onions aren't doing too bad out here. They're coming along. And that peach tree, wow. And the apple tree. Now I don't see any little apples on the apple tree, which I'm surprised. But on that peach tree, it's full. It's full of little peaches. So that's something for me to think about. Today is May 1st, 2019. I wanted to give an update on my sunflower seed sprouts. This has now been, what, 10, 11 days in. I've already been picking. They say that you can put them in a container and keep them in the fridge. So I've been doing that, and I keep letting them grow. So as I took scissors and I just snipped them, and so it's been actually an excellent project. It's worked out really well. I suggest that you try it if you have an interest.